Okay. Can you see my screen right now?
Yes.
Okay. So thank you everyone for joining to our contribution experience meeting. I am your host today. I would start from thank you to top reviewers and top managers to do the work here. Let's see if we have something from triage last week. Last week it was Michael and Blake. Do you have any items, guys? Let me see if Michael here. No. Blake, do you have something from last?
No, there's nothing of note that I saw in the triage.
Okay. Probably Michael will join later, so we will back to it. Do you have any volunteers for upcoming week?
I can go for secondary, Kanika.
Thank you, Kanka. Let me find you in the list.
I'm the last person in the list.
Thank you. Anyone else for primary?
I can go for primary.
Thank you. Let me find you here. Okay. So we are going to discuss today pretty bunch amount of topics. Let me see if Andrei is present. No, for now. Okay, I'm sure he will join, but let me skip him for now. Jared, are you here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, so let me open it.
It's just a click-through demo. I can also demo it on my computer if you want to see it live. But essentially, at Red Hat, we've been working a lot on AI stuff, and we have a kind of a branded thing called Lightspeed that we run in the OpenShift console. And I've been working on bringing that agent into Argo CD through an extension. So I'll just share my screen really quickly here. For a very quick demo. You see my screen okay?
Yep.
So if I click on, say, this database here, whoops, log in again. You see I get a new tab called Lightspeed. I can click on that. And then I can ask questions like, this is a deployment. Does this deployment conform to best practices? And off it goes. I'm using DeepSeek as a model right now. You can have other models as well, but so you get this kind of think preamble that it goes through and thinks about what it's doing. Under the hood, what the extension does is it automatically loads the manifest and the events and puts it into the context for the AI agents. You can ask questions about it. You can also attach logs as well if you want to add logs for context. And yeah, that's basically what it does. So what I was wondering is if there was an interest in this being an Argo Labs project. And if there was, then what I would do is kind of refactor it to remove all the Lightspeed branding, change it to Assistant. And then I would basically use probably Lambda Stack as the backend rather than the Lightspeed backend that I'm using now. Let's say we load 100 lines. The log, and then you can ask questions about the logs. Are there any issues with the logs?
Nice.
I think there is very good interest in having this as part of the Argo Proj Labs. I can help you with creating the repo if you want, Gerald, but it would be really great to have that. And one thing I was thinking is to have in a future some sort of a catalog of Argo CD extensions, and having extensions living in Argo Proj Labs is one starting point for that.
Okay, sounds good. So, like I said, it's going to take me a bit of time to refactor things here. I'm trying to figure out how to stop sharing my screen. There we go. To refactor things to use more of a upstream backend. I'm also using an upstream, or not upstream, an open source project for the chatbot. This is like a really small amount of code. You'd be amazed at how little code I actually had to write to get this thing going, just leveraging that chatbot. So probably I will reach out to you maybe in middle of July or so to get a repo created and then upstream everything at that point, if that makes sense.
Sure. You said the models right now are not configurable, and you're planning to
No,
make it.
so the idea with so right now the way it works is I'm using what's called our Lightspeed backend, which is an open source project called Roadcore, but we're actually looking at moving to Llama Stack at Red Hat. So for this project, what I would do is it would not include a model. The idea is that you would use Llama Stack or an OpenAI model, because Llama Stack provides an OpenAI compatible API to plug your model into this extension, right? So I'm not bundling a model in with this, but you would basically connect it to a model, whatever model that you want to use for it, and off if you go to the races. Because we find, at least for us so far, different customers at Red Hat have different models that they're using depending on, their vendor alignment or where their clusters are being sourced, etc. Right? So you got to give them flexibility on that front. And Llama Stack allows you to have pluggable models, so it makes sense to use that as well as potentially pluggable MCP servers down the road. The other thing that's interesting, sorry, go ahead.
Exact question. We already have another solution from Acuity with MCP. And what are the differences between two? Probably it will be better to come to contribute one part into another or something like this.
Right. So
Mhm.
yeah, so the thing with MCP servers is they are very useful, but they typically get used more often than not from a local perspective, i.e. connected in your local IDE and use that way, versus kind of a server side thing, which is what this extension is doing.
Mhm.
So the idea, Llama Stack can plug in MCP servers into it, and that's kind of what the point I was getting to, is that part of this is simply driving some changes that are going to be needed in the Argo CD extension mechanism to support MCP servers. Because to use MCP from a server side, you need to have it interact with the service as if it was the user, so it gets the same privileges and rights, right? In order to do that, you got to pass a token to it. And right now, the Argo CD proxy extension service does not allow or provide any way to pass on the Argo CD token, right? So Llama Stack allows you to have MCP servers plugged into it through tools. I don't know where it's at in terms of authorization and authentication. That's another thing that Red Hat is going to be working on in that area. And another reason why I'm kind of interested in going with Llama Stack, because we're going to be doing all of this work probably for OpenShift and Lightspeed as well. So upstream will benefit from that. And the idea is that you could have different MCP servers plugged in. It's not just about, say, Acuity's MCP server, which is for Argo, but I could also see having MCP servers plugged in for Git. And I'd love to see things get to a point where you could say, hey, my deployment has a problem. Can you diagnose the problem and then do a PR through an MCP server to Git to automatically rectify it, right? Or to have a human review it and rectify it. So it's still very early stages on this stuff, but that's where I see it. So Acuity provides an MCP server. This provides an interface in Argo to maybe access that MCP. If that makes
So
sense.
this would be like an agent for that.
Yeah, it would basically be an agent for it.
Right.
Yeah. Like an MCP on its
my
own.
intention to combine the both solutions somehow in future, and not to have it as separate tracks. Probably.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, so is Acuity providing an Argo extension that works with their MCP, like that has a chatbot extension?
I didn't play with it. Nitish, maybe you know. Maybe you played with it.
No, it relies on something like an IDE, or like Cagent is something I've been using it with to interact with it. So you have to have some sort of
Something like Claude?
Yeah, exactly. Like something like Claude, or like I've been using Cagent with it as well.
I think they could live independently. That's what I'm trying to guess. I think that, yeah.
Yeah, the extension is a good idea to have that open source. I don't think there's anything similar so far that exists. So if we can centralize on this extension, it's good.
Yeah, and honestly, I'm quite open. I know Acuity's done work on a chatbot in their platform. If they want to open source that and make that an extension, I'm happy to work with them on it. But otherwise, I'll just proceed with this.
Okay. Let me
Thank
see.
you.
Andrei. Sure. Thank you. Let
Yeah.
me Andrei join.
Hello. Yeah.
Hey, Andrei.
Uh,
So you have a bunch of topics. Let's start with first.
yeah. I think like it's just PR reviews. It's just been there for some time already. I brought it up, but it's just been I think waiting for like 3 months. So it's not a complex PR for Argo rollouts. So I don't know when 1.9 is going to be released, but yeah, I think it's just wanted to like highlight that there is this in backlog. Yeah, it just adds more like messages, like make them more detailed.
Okay. Anyone from rollouts can review it? Yes.
It's been in my queue of reviews, but I'm never getting to it.
I see. Okay, I mean, as long as it's reviewed before like 1.9, it's fine. It's just like I periodically check like what's the status of things I'm working on. So I just wanted to check. Okay, sounds good. Let's go to the next item.
Sure.
This is, I think there's been some like put it to the author's queue, but I don't know, I wonder if there are any more concerns. Like basically, if you use monorepo setup for your deployments repo, where like all Argo apps read from, that like these comments about like PR, etc., they're often meaningless. Because it will just select like most recent PR to the repo, not like most recent PR affecting your app. So this gives an option to just hide that information and don't confuse users. So the person implemented it, but there's some follow-up needed to like rebase, fix merge conflicts, etc. But I wonder if there are any like concerns with
Is it for
approach
all?
itself.
Andrei, I believe it's disabling for all applications, right? Because
Yes.
RHCM. Maybe it should be
Yeah.
per application because you still may have combination of different apps.
Maybe. I think usually companies would probably use either one of setups, so either they use like tagging, tracking, or either they use like monorepo setup for all applications. So it's probably not a concern. I think we can introduce it per like globally, and then like maybe if there is a need, we can like introduce it per application.
I wouldn't consider this a fix for monorepo displaying the wrong information.
Yeah.
This is more like a UI clutter fix. If you think the information
like, I think...
is annoying in the UI, it's not whether the information is valid or not.
Yeah.
It's only UI specific, and I do think company will either want it or not want it, and it's not worth it to have it per application because it's not a fix per application. It's really a UI clutter. And if we hide the information, it should be available to be seen elsewhere easily.
Yeah, proper fix to like show a relevant PR, I think it's just very hard. I don't know if it's doable without extra controller even. I think it was discussed at some point, but...
yeah, we discussed it. I seen
And we'll discuss it more
Reggie.
today.
Yeah, Reggie, are we open sourcing it right now, or it was changed in the plans?
No, it was not changed. The next item is Eugene, the proposal for this controller.
Okay. So we open sourcing controller right now that's supposed to resolve this issue with revision.
Would it be a part of Argo CD or like a separate?
Oh, separate controller.
How easy is it to like integrate and maintain? Is like Argo.
Pretty easy.
Is it just like a separate quay.io image you can like mirror and like get into your like set Argo CD application for it, etc.?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, maybe then.
It's not there yet. We will discuss the proposal for this.
Okay. So it's not even like approved, pre-approved.
We do have already live users who are using it, but yeah, we can discuss it later.
Okay. And for this, I guess it's just option. I think by default it still keeps the old behavior. So I think it should be like not much issue.
Yeah. Okay.
I think when I asked like people internally for feedback and like maybe upvote issues they care about, then this one, I think this one had like 20 plus likes and like this was the most upvoted among like 5 to 10 issues to like remove this information. Something
So-
else that
Sorry.
kind of
Yeah.
scares me, and I'm not sure if scare is the right word here. If you scroll all the way up, Pasha, we see that this is a very large PR for the value it brings.
Oh, I
That's
see.
And
there are merge issues. So
Oh, I think
yeah. So my point is, I think as maintainers, we should discuss how to move forward with big PRs and big changes,
Yeah.
and have a process that, yeah.
I think this PR is big only because it has like if
Sorry,
statements.
Alex, I want to hear Alex.
Yeah, there are merge issues on the PR, so there's probably maybe 10 file change. It's just merge issue. That's why it's a draft. It's not really the
Oh,
big
I see. It's not really a big PR.
No.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, I think a part of changes is because you add some if statement and you shift a bunch of stuff like with tab to the right, and all the lines will show up as like changes. I think that's the reason for this PR specifically.
Got it.
Okay, let's move.
Yeah. Yeah, I think third item actually I figured it out. You can skip it.
Okay.
So like short answer, yeah, I want to like Argo CD CLI to update resources, and there is like patch resource command, and yes, you need to construct a patch in JSON. But yeah, after you figure out how the patch should look like, I think it's like more like well documented how to construct JSON patches and like add stuff, and like you have like merge, strategic merge, etc. And I think I already made it like what workaround in a few cases. So yeah, we can move on.
Okay, so next one is Eugen. Before Eugen start, I want to welcome him. He joined Octopus Deploy recently. So Eugen, I'm giving you stage.
Well, hi everyone. As I recently joined Octopus Deploy, and we want to start with I want to start with open sourcing that controller that originally is written by Pasha. It's not exactly open sourcing because the controller as it exists currently, it depends on changes that we did, the CodeFresh did in their fork of Argo CD, but we want to bring it open source that make it work with upstream Argo CD as it is without any changes to Argo CD. So in the summary, I gave links to several issues. One issue is Andri's issue that annoyed him. It's have another use case aside from representation of the last commit in the user interface is notification. We have a issue with notification. Actually, according to our experience at CodeFresh, it's one of the main use cases why our clients are not happy with behavior of Argo CD with monorepos. They can't. They have lots of irrelevant notifications from Argo CD notification controller. So what we want to do? Because this problem is rather hard, and if we have to solve it properly, it would affect repo server performance-wise. We want to create a project at Argo Labs and bring there that controller. So we won't touch Argo CD currently until we have something enough robust, enough working good enough, so we could continue on this base, bring it to Argo CD itself. Currently, we want to use we want to listen application resources. Only the applications that have annotation that repository how it's called, it's
Manifest generate path.
generate path that essentially it gives path of it's a path of the files that of this particular application. If an application has such a annotation, we will the controller will process, will get a list of all the revisions between last commit, last synchronization, current synchronization, previous synchronization, and the last synchronization or current synchronization is still synchronizing. And we'll run on every commit between those commits git diff3, and then it will filter the resulting files according to the manifest generate path, and thus we could can update the annotation with relevant commit. We call it change revision. And if we have a multi-source application, so we'll have another annotation that will contain an array of such revisions according to the array of source passes of the application. That's the idea. That's because we have to access directly at the Git file system. We can't and a repo server uses locking. It can unexpectedly change branches of the Git repos that it cloned. We cannot, essentially, we cannot currently, at least, use some sidecar or something that will access the same file system. And we cannot as well use repo server as API of a repo server because we lack needed methods. In our fork, we added some methods to perform Git operations. So I think we will have to make some lightweight repo server taking the needed parts of a repository server. In the future, we want to make a UI to this UI extensions that will show this annotation to the user. We will try to bring better algorithms, better ways to calculate the actual revision, because our current method, it doesn't take into account if we have some management plugin like customize plugins or customize or Helm that can ignore part of files that are inside of the applications folders. And we want to use this playground to optimize performance, use optimal caching, and when the things will stabilize, our ultimate goal to bring it to the Argo CD itself as a part of a repo server, application server, whatever.
Okay, thank you, Eugen.
Cool. Yeah, I think support for manifest generate path only makes sense. Like, because otherwise there's just too many edge cases and you need to actually don't know how to solve it in this case for general.
Outcome of it, I think, will be annotation, and the question if you want to do natural support or we want to do extension for it. It's a good question, because I think with natural support, I mean just to actually what we just discussed in previous pull request, to show it on status fields as people used to see it. Maybe it will be better. It will pretty small change in the code just to verify if application has specific annotation, to show information from it. If no, to show it from as is. But it will probably provide better experience for end users for monorepo support. Otherwise, we'll need to do extension, but I'm not sure how comfortable it will be to use in the end with extension.
I think it's fine to change the Argo UI just to support that annotation, and that annotation is like an alpha feature, and
yes.
Yeah, it's a small change in Argo, and we can drop the annotation if we decide to not keep the feature or whatever. Yeah.
Also, with that extension, if you intend to change the existing widgets that is available in the UI, that's not possible with extension. You can add additional widgets, but you cannot change the behavior of existing ones. So I'm not sure what was the original idea with extension, but if that was the case, it wouldn't be possible.
We don't actually still have experience with writing UI extensions. Probably you're right. So probably it's the only way it's to change Argo CD UI. But currently we should first implement the controller, and then we'll see what to do with UI.
Yep. Yeah. Just comment.
I think it's maybe good to do in parallel actually, because I don't know if the stuff is not present, that UI change would be knob, and then UI change would take some time because we don't have as many UI people. So I think the parallelizing effort can actually benefit.
Yeah, but yes, UI is really small part here, but yeah, it makes sense. So please comment on it, guys, if you have any comments on proposal. Only one thing, I think we used to open proposal as README files.
By a couple of days, that's it.
Okay. I think we used to open proposal as README files and persist them in Git. Am I missing something?
No. That's the way we used to do it. It will be easier for everyone to comment there.
Yeah. So usually, in addition to issue, just open. You will see in Argo CD proposals folder. So take template from it and just open. So we can merge it.
What I have to do with issue to close it? Because it's not really currently issue of Argo CD. It's a proposal to make a new thing.
The proposal folder is only used for big architectural changes or significant changes to the project. So we can keep the issue as is and have this moving forward. The only piece I don't really understand is why we're having the proposal in the Argo CD repo if we're thinking about going with an external controller in Argo Project Labs.
Because I didn't know about a better way to make a proposal.
Okay, no problem. Yeah. Okay.
So,
right.
Okay. So Eugen, let us know if you need something, if you need repository or some help.
I believe that maintainers can actually create repos in the lab, and Regina is maintainer, and
I'm not sure. I think only
yes, that's correct. Yeah.
Okay, fine.
So I'll make the README in the proposals repository, and we'll continue.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, maybe you have some also some inputs for the name of the how the project should be called.
Currently, it's called.
Sorry, go ahead.
Currently, it's called ACR controller, which means application change revision.
You can create a Slack thread in Argo contributors and discuss that async.
Yeah, I think name is easiest part here. Okay.
To get some sense, how complex is the controller? Like, I don't know,
Very
lines of
small.
code, etc. Like,
Very small. I don't
oh, maybe
have,
honestly, maybe we just make it a part of Argo
no, it
from
is
the
not. We
beginning
discussed it with
and just
Michael
flag
a
it
lot
and do
because we
things.
may affect existing. We don't want, the whole point that we don't want to affect synchronization at all. So
Yeah.
if we want to do it as part of controller, we don't want to put it into reconciliation and synchronization loops.
Oh, and
It
since
can, it
it's
can
a
be, it can be,
controller, okay.
it may have cases when it can be very heavy operation.
Yeah, it's fair. And we cannot just feature flag it. Okay, I just realized we cannot feature flag it because it's like separate controller, so it should be an install manifest.
Yeah, but
and
it's
we
fine.
don't
You
want to
install this
fork.
feature flag is just destroy controller, and that's your feature flag if you don't want it, actually.
Yeah, but so I mean, if there is easy way to disable it, we just disable it by default, and who wants it just enables it.
Yeah. Yes.
I think it's better to make users an option to install controller without touching the Argo CD because, like Pasha said, we can have edge cases with heavy operation.
Yep.
Sure.
At least currently in the way it's implemented now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Nitish, you next.
Yeah. So I actually need a little bit of help or basically some sort of reviews for this PR. So right now I'm working on implementing the watch endpoint for application set controller. Till now it hasn't been implemented because there was no use for it. So recently there was an issue about introducing the wait flag to the app set create or delete command. That will eventually make sure that your application set is deleted before you get the message something like the application set has got deleted. Having said that, so there was no watch endpoint to basically watch for a stream of events that were happening, and this PR eventually adds the watch endpoint to the application set basically. However, the code looks similar to how the watch endpoint has been implemented for um, the application. So right now I'm just getting across an error where the CLI is actually getting stuck, and after some debugging I noticed that it was happening uh, because the watch endpoint is unable to list the application sets, and I'm not sure why is that happening. Although the delete event has occurred, this is exactly the line that is causing the issue. I tried to basically see how the application watch endpoint is working, and for that thing it's perfectly listing the application that have got deleted or for present. So I just want to get some eyes on this PR. If anyone has time, and just see where could I be possibly be going wrong. If I get a little bit of it, I'll figure out the rest of the things.
Yeah. One quick thing, like resource version can be string 0 as well sometimes. It's just like one thing that goes immediately into my, like, so maybe you need to check if it also, or if it's resource version is equals to 0. I don't know if it's applicable. But I noticed that, for example, some APIs, like when I'm working with this API, some API like work with like empty stringlets, some API actually check for like version 0. So maybe they use it interchangeably. But I'm not super like 100% familiar with this. So yeah.
Did you say you're getting? Did you say this is for like a delete event?
Yes, exactly. This is actually for the delete event.
And this is on application set?
Yeah.
So I was working on this and I faced, I kind of noticed that the delete for applications that doesn't trigger so when the delete function gets triggered is when the resource is actually getting deleted. So do you have like a finalizer on the application set by any chance?
Not really. Not really.
Okay. Okay. So I will look at that. Yeah, I had to edit the delete function to kind of include the timestamp addition. So like in my case, when the resource wasn't getting deleted, but I still wanted a further resource to be watched if there's like a deletion timestamp. So I had to edit the delete function for the watch. So I was kind of wondering if it's the same thing.
I think it's basically not the same. So it's just that your watch is basically going to look for a stream of events. So whether your application set has been modified, added, updated, or deleted. So the problem is that everything seems to be working well, but the list endpoint is unable to list the application sets there. That's what I have come to realize after debugging. So I just need to see if what is something that is going wrong here. But I do see, I think Reggie linked a PR. I'll go through it and I'll see if that seems to be working. If that seems to be working, I'll see if I can merge those PRs together. Not.
Cool.
I added another item in the list since we still have a bit of time. I've been working this week on that PR, and it's touching, you can look at the description. It's touching the sync loop and auto sync, self heal function, the new self heal back off and cool down, and kind of refactoring a bunch of different features that have been added individually to make the self heal and auto sync a bit clearer. Because over time, when people add if conditions, that function grew up to a point where wasn't possible to read anymore. So I refactored the code, remove a bunch of parameters and different methods, and all the E2E passed. So only error condition string was the only difference in E2E. So I have quite high confidence that this is not going to be problematic. But if you've contributed to the PRs that I've linked in the description, and you haven't written an E2E, just a unit test, maybe the behavior will be different. So you might want to test this PR, but I'd like to get it in 3.1 anyway, and the RC is going to be Monday. So if I can get a review on that, that would be appreciated.
Yeah, from my perspective, I can see that you probably just renamed variable from first glance in issues that I did to this part. Okay, I will also take a look. For just quickly, Alex, for this part, you just updated this variable, right? Or you also
Yeah,
yeah?
This variable has been renamed, and also there was another variable in the loop that was a bit unnecessary that I
Rollback.
removed.
This one?
Yeah, the rollback in the end was not necessary, because if you provide an explicit list of revision, you can just check if an explicit revision is used, then use that. Which was rollback was not even through, because autosync also provide an explicit revision, and so that wasn't
From
really
my part, only this thing, but I wrote on the unit test. I will take a look, but again, as long as we just rename it, it should not break anything for me. Okay.
I'll take a look as well, and I'll ping Shomo about this as well, if he has any opinions.
Mm-hmm. You will cherry pick it into 2 dot or only 3?
No, that will be just 3.1.
Mhm.
Maybe it's too much effort to cherry pick.
Mhm. Okay. Any other topics? We have 3 minutes. Okay, thank you a lot.
Sorry, quick question. So I noticed about milestone 3.1 that it's mostly not done. There's been like green progress bar only like covering 10%, yet branch cut is like on Monday. So are we like tracking that, or we just should ignore that?
I mean, do you have time to help review some PRs?
I can allocate some time, but I don't have approvers though. I'm only reviewer. But I can still take a look. Yeah. Okay, let me check something in that milestone and review that this week, maybe like even today.
Yeah, give more priority to feature because we can cherry pick fixes in the RC as well.
Okay.
Okay, guys. Thank you, everyone. Enjoy.
Thank you. See you.